Hello, my name is Dexter and this is a casual look at Guild of Dungeoneering. It's a game developed by the Gambrius game studios. They aren't responsible for a large amount of games, but they have of course developed this as well as a game that goes by the name of Cardpocalypse, which I have not played myself, so I really can't speak to that one. This one is a roguelike dungeon building slash dungeon crawling single player game with turn-based, card-based combat. It's a bit difficult to explain, so I think it's easy to just show you. It's a single player only title. There is no co-op and there is also no online, as you might expect. Either way, I've gotten a little bit into the game already, so I'm just gonna jump right back in and I'll show you what it's about. So let's go. And we get some loading screen hints as well. Isn't that wonderful? Okay. Here we are. This is my guild. It is the... Yes, it is the Guild of Dungeoneering after all. So this is my guild. You build this up as you go through the game. And this will give you access to various different kinds of new weapons and dungeoneers and other such similar things that you will be able to encounter during your runs. And you will of course get access to more and more of these as you progress through the game. Also you can click these to annoy them, because why not? So these are the dungeoneers. They are two different classes, and here are the rooms you can build, which gives you additional dungeoneers or additional weaponry, or access to additional weaponry rather. Other than that, you are going to go into different dungeons and try to complete the quests therein. And we are just going to jump into a dungeon and I'll show you how the game plays, because that's the most interesting thing. And it's a bit odd as well. So let's see what we're going to jump into. I think we will have a little look at this one, and we're going to choose the Bruiser and the Trickster's Favor, which is just like a little amulet. It gives you a minor buff. It's usually not significant, but it's something, I suppose. Right. So this is a game. Now, as I said, this is a card-based dungeon delver builder exploration game. Yes, with turn-based, card-based combat. So you build a dungeon as you go through it. So you get different tile sets, as you see here, and different items you can put into the different rooms as well. So you can put a coin here. So the coins will essentially act as guidance for your dungeoneer. He is a greedy bastard and he's going to try to get all the loot he can possibly get his hands on. You will also have to fight enemies, because if you do not fight enemies, you are not going to get any kind of loot or equipment that you will need in order to fight the bosses or complete the objectives. And objectives are generally something like, for example, fight these enemies, because they collect, well, they guard the chests that I am supposed to collect. So let's build out our dungeon, and there we go. You get to place 3 cards each turn. And this is what the combat looks like. This will allow us to block his stacks, as you see. And we are going to hit him. So this is how the combat works. You have a deck that is consists of a certain number of specific cards, of course, as you might expect. Doesn't really matter what I pick here. This seems rather promising so far. Yes, so I will win this one. Right, so yes. It's very simple and easy to understand, but it is also rather random, to be sure. it would probably be hard to suggest otherwise. And when you have fought an enemy, as I said, you will get some kind of loot, usually equipment of some sort. Which, as you see, you will be able to equip one, well, equipment of each type. So a offhand, a weapon, a body, a head, etc. And they will give you different things. Some of them will give you abilities, such as this one. That one gives me a number of cards. There are other ones that just gives you, for example, a health, which is a heart. And each time you go into battle, your hearts will be replenished. So you certainly don't have to worry about that. Let's see, I guess I can put that there. I could put one more card, although there's no real reason to, because I'm probably just going to progress to the zombie afterwards either way, so, you know, whatever. So yes, this is what you will be doing throughout essentially the entire game. There is a bit of strategy to it, but it is limited, I would suggest. It is rather random, and there isn't a huge amount of strategy you could necessarily employ. Let's see. What do you... Decay. Let's do this. Hopefully I will survive this then, I guess. Yeah, so this is very, very bad. I think I'll die here, which is very unfortunate. And the reason I'll die is because even if I kill him, if I'm dead, that doesn't matter. Yes. Unfortunate. So we both die, and that's the end of the run.
Once again,
and you get this
they
beautiful
tried
little
in
song.
vain to overcome and not be slain, but overrun and very scared. Our heroes fell in battle.
Yes, indeed. It isn't necessarily my type of humor, I suppose, but I mean, I suppose it's fine. I don't necessarily find it extremely funny myself, but it's just not my taste in humor, so that's not too strange. But some people will undoubtedly find it rather amusing, and that's great for them as well, so you know. Comedy. It's subjective. Big news, right? Okay, so let's see what we have, what kind of items we can expand our guild with instead here. I don't really have enough money to build anything especially interesting there. So just go for another run, I suppose. And yes, it is semi-random, I suppose, in that all the different dungeons will be essentially randomized, but they will have a certain quest objective. So generally this will look basically the same, the basic setup here, but all the cards that you use to build a dungeon are, well, more or less random. And so is all the different, well, both enemies, of course, but also the loot you get, and the treasure you get, and the cards that you get. Basically, it's a little bit too random for me. I don't hate it by any means. It's not bad, but it is very random. And there is a very limited amount of strategy you can really employ, considering how very random in nature it is. Everything is based around cards, right? Your attacks are based around cards. What you'll get as a reward is based around random cards. What your dungeon will look like is based around random cards. That's pretty easy. What cards the enemies will get, I assume, is also somewhat based around random cards. I don't know how entirely that is. Maybe they have some kind of predetermined pattern. I'm not quite certain, but... well, I'm not quite certain, so... there you go. Okie dokie. Well, that's fine. I can just block that, honestly. Yeah. And then I can do this. So I will hit him and I will generate a health there, as you see. The enemies will always show you the the attack they will do. And you will always be second to attack. So they always attack first and you block first. At least that is unless you have a special ability on the card, which is the quick attack thing, which I believe makes you attack first. But otherwise the enemy always attack first either way. So yeah, that's pretty simple. This is kind of interesting because if you, yeah, here we go. It doesn't always show you the cards for some reason. It's a bit of a, I suppose, bug or something. Whatever, but usually you can re-hover over it and it will show you. This is kind of interesting because the card, as you see there, that's a negative card. That's obviously really bad, you do nothing. But the other two are rather strong. So it's a bit of a trade-off. Otherwise we have a number of other... This is pretty good. So I'm a little bit of a mage this one around, I guess. Which is kind of nice. I'm gonna put another room, and we're gonna put it there, and we're gonna put a corridor, and we put that there, and we're going to put a stupid little spider. Let's go. Okay, so he is going to hit me with a magic ability and then heal. And I can do the very same thing. There we are. Cancel each other out, essentially. Fire blasts. Good. This one is important to block. If they hit me with that one, I will discard a card. Which means I will only be able to choose from 2 cards as opposed to 3, which is not very great at all. It's pretty bad. Yes, that's very good. Oh yes, and as you see, this guy has the frail trait. This means that physical attacks hurt him more. I don't have any traits myself though. Now, my character don't have any traits right now because it's like the starter or beginner character, I suppose. But other characters do have certain traits, such as the Bruiser, for example. Let's see here. We can... yeah, this one's the best one. So he hits me with a magic ability, and I hit him with a magic ability. And as you saw, he had a block card, but it was a physical attack block card. While I used a magical ability, so that just doesn't do anything. And I win. Wonderful. Let's see what we can get here. Twig. Fork. Soldier's helmet. Just take some gold. No, I don't think that's a very good idea. I suppose... yeah, let's get a twig. That's better than nothing. It isn't amazing, but it's something. I should be able to do this, I think. And yes, indeed, I will entice my explorer to go to this bastard instead of this one. And I think, yes, indeed, he's level 1 and this is level 2. So that means that this will be easier to fight. And as such, I'm very happy to do so. So let's do that. And let's put a rat well, it doesn't really matter that much, I suppose. Put him here. Okay. Let's fight again. Let's fight. Hooray. This is obviously that he damages himself. So it's some kind of basically enrage style of attack. Self-damaging, but you do more damage than you otherwise would have done. He does 2 damage with the attack. That one is just really, really bad. He deals 1 damage and takes 1 damage. Which is as damaging to him as it is to me, which is just not very advisable, I would suggest, but whatever. Let's just take a lucky hit. Okay. Okie dokie, so let's just put up a shield against that one, I guess. That was actually not really necessary because I just had to hit him once and he's dead, so... It wouldn't have mattered if he reduced my card choice ability. But anyways, we win!
Here's to you, young Dungeoneer. You stood your ground and acted very brave. But how long before you feel the fear? And how long before you're in your grave?
Yes, indeed. So that's the bard singing our ballad, as you hear. Alright. Nevertheless, so we get a bit of gold here, it would seem. We also get a battle scar, Pyromaniac, so that makes me start with Fire 1, it would seem, which is nice. So yes, which of course is very good for your Dungeoneers, I suppose, or champions. I call them heroes, but that's just me. Anyways, it's essentially the, I suppose, levels, or the equivalent of levels that you can get in this game. It gives your Dungeoneers a bit of a buff on their next adventure, essentially. That's pretty much it. And you don't really have any other kind of level up system in the game as such for your Dungeoneers. Oh, yay. Yes, so that's what happens when one of your Dungeoneers dies. They will be replaced a little while after, I think a run after, in fact, with another Dungeoneer of the same type. So this is also a bruiser, as you might expect. But of course doesn't have any battle scars and such. So that's pretty much how that works. Okay, apologies, I'm back though. There was a bit of a hitch up in the recording there, so we'll have to redo that. Not a problem though, because I have a little bit more stuff now anyways, so I was just about to go into a dungeon, I believe, so let's just do that. What shall we go to? We can enter this one. Perhaps. Or we could... I'm not sure, honestly. We can shoot the bruiser, and why not? That's fine. We can take the bruiser, and we will go for... Let's go for this one, maybe. No, actually, let's go for the treasure, right? Well, a mimic, that's not a good treasure. Let's go for the orcs instead. The treasure is a lie. Alright, so let's see then. Alright, we're back. You're bowered? What? Am I bowered? What the heck are you talking about? Get a little bit of dialogue here as well, apparently. I don't know what the purpose of that is, but whatever. This seems good, so let's put one of those. Let's put a spider there, and let's put a bit of silver coins in there as well. Alright. So, spiders, they have the frail trait, so it should be pretty decent to just hit him, I suppose. point in trying to defend because I can't defend against magic too well anyways. I do not want to discard a card, so I'm gonna waste a defense, and we shall do like so. I punch through his shield with that. This is his frail, he takes 2 damage, which is very nice. And then just murder him, essentially. So there you go. Cool. And the Bruiser has a cool ability as well, which is that when he defends all the damage that he could have taken, essentially, he will do a damage to the enemy, which is pretty nice. So it's a nice little trait ability he has that. Oh yeah, some items just give a health instead of cards, which can be useful as well, but I think we want to go with a... Let's go with a holy. A little bit of regen and defense. Why not? What did I get? I got Heroes Unblockable Attack gains 1 magical damage next fight. Okay. Well, that's probably not terribly useful, considering I don't have too many unblockable attacks, but hey, whatever. Meh, why not? And some gold, because I want gold, because I'm greedy. I'm a greedy bastard. So that seems like a good idea. Punch, because I cannot defend against his unblockable attack. Well, I can't block him, so, you know, punch back, I guess. This I can block, so let's block an attack. Nice. And we can just, well, block that because I don't have any attacks at all. And I will actually damage him because I blocked his attack, which is quite useful. Obviously. Maybe a bit of baggage. What? A bit of baggage. Yes, a bit of magic might not be bad. Let's get that. It's always good to have some magical abilities. Can always be useful. Put the coins there, put the corridor here, and let's put some silver coins here. Why not? Yes. Let's block his attacks. And he takes double damage. Well, he takes the damage he takes from using his self-harming abilities, and he takes my spiky damage as well, which is very nice. I will block, and I think I will get a heart from this. I will, yes. And I will hurt him as well, which is nice. Just fire blast him, honestly. Why not? And I win! Hooray! I level up as well, which is always nice. I believe I will get a something or other. Let's see. It feels like this will be pretty physical damage, right? Probably. Probably. Might be good to have some defense against that. What do you give me? That is terrible. But I can't actually stop him from going there either. Which is very bad. So I now have stupidity. That's terrible. Oh, that's really good. So I might be able to survive here, frankly. Nice. put that there. So usually the way you obviously manage this debuff I just got, which is a terrible debuff, is by trying to fight things that aren't that horrifically damaging. I cannot block his attack, but I can draw a card while he makes me lose a card. So I have 3 cards again. Haha, take that. Okay, so let's hit him. So I have nothing better to do. Sure, this is a good one. Boom, boom. Good. Oh dear lord. Well, I can defend all of those, so... Haha. Take that. So that feels quite good. That's nice. Cool. I don't have a weapon yet, huh? Something to keep in mind is that you can only, as I said, have 1 of each item. So if you take another item of the same type, you are going to just discard your previous one, which is not incredibly useful, honestly. I guess that's fine. Probably. This one is decent. It gives me a health and the block plus a card, but I really don't want that crappy card. The inactivity card is a really bad one. So let's get the Stiletto just for that. Okie dokie. Sure, why not? Let's just put that there, and we put this here, and we put this here, and I will take that gem. And it seems I have lost the shitty debuff as well. I do not know if you can actually like run out of time or anything, in which case I'm not so sure if like you usually just, you know, I suppose farm as much as you possibly can before fighting the boss, or if there's actually any kind of reason to try to go fast, frankly. But oh well, who knows. That's not good. Well, I can just slice him, but I cannot defend against that, which is very bad. But I can draw a card now, so that's fine. I'm probably still going to win this, I would suggest. Yes, it seems like it. There we go, and he is dead. So I'm doing quite well right now, as you see. That is pretty decent, but I do like the swiftness, so I might want to take this instead. Yes, this one seems pretty decent. So let's take that. Alright. And we get a little bit of money and the fountain buff, which is predictable. Oh. The monster gain is predictable. Oh, well, that's probably good for me, because predictable is... If the monster are predictable, then surely that's positive for me, I would assume. I don't know. I was guessing. And that's a good fountain, so let's try and get that, I guess. Let's see here. Right, so let's just maybe put this somewhere. I don't know. Put it here, why not? And put a bandit here, because I can fight that probably at this point. I'm not lying, I hope. I'm not gonna lie. It is rather satisfying when it goes well. It really is, but at the same time, it's also incredibly frustrating when you lose simply because of bad luck and a bad draw. So, you know, I don't know. I might. I'm not certain. Well, just put bandit runes and stuff everywhere, I guess. Fight! Let's go! Dear Lord. That's quite a scary attack. Well, my attacks won't go through, so I might as well just do that, I guess. Heal myself and draw a card. Oh, and this will be good. Oh yes, this will be very good. So I will do 3 damage. Nice. Alright. Right, so 2 unblockable physical damage. Well, I could just do that, I suppose. Ouch. Bang. That's decent. 2 damage, and then... Well, I can block that, I think. And I will do a damage to him. There you go. And I will definitely win this. Nice! There we are. And we will get ourselves... I don't know. Do I want any of these? Don't want to replace anything. These are pretty good things. They are level 3 items, I think, which should be better than what I have right now, I believe. Probably, yes, maybe. I don't know. I'm not so sure. I mean, I really like those things. I'm not particularly interested in getting anything. Just give me some gold and... Fine. The music in the game is pretty decent, I suppose. I can just let you listen to a bit of it and you can see for yourself what you think. I have... Oh dear. Yeah, this is terrible. Terrible draw. Great. Fun. Wonderful. Thanks. That's the kind of problem I have with this game, I'll be honest. It's just so incredibly luck-based. If I get unlucky here with the draw, I'll lose. That's kind of frustrating. That's shitty as heck. Yeah, it's very likely that I may well lose here. Frankly. Oh dear. Yep. I don't have anything to block with. So I will lose. I can't do anything. At all. I'm just gonna be losing. Great, and my character died. So that feels pretty terrible. That's not fun. That's, yeah, that's really not fun at all.
From far and wide, they come to the guild.
That's annoying. And it doesn't feel like I could have done anything. I just got shitty draws, so you know. Sucks to you, ass, but yeah, you got screwed.
And twice?
That's not particularly fun. And that's kind of my biggest problem with the game. It just feels a little bit too random. To be completely honest. It isn't that it isn't fun. Because sometimes it is a bit of fun. Yeah, it is. It isn't consistently annoying, but it can be very annoying if you just get screwed over by a draw. It's not for me, I think. It's not really my kind of game because I don't like it when I can get completely screwed by draw. I had a similar problem with Faster Than Light, which is a great game, yeah? But you can also kind of get rather screwed by random encounters and events, which is somewhat frustrating to me. I'm also not certain how this works, because you do the first quest and go on to the second quest, which with all of these, which is kind of odd because if my Dungeoneer dies, he will lose all his progress, obviously, on the battle wounds, so won't that be much more difficult to do these? If you ever lose your heroes? I don't know, can you just get screwed? Who knows, I suppose. Anyway, sound effects wise, it's fine. It does have this kind of sketchbook feel, so it kind of makes sense that you have sort of flimsy sound effects, I guess, as you hear. But yeah, so it wouldn't really make sense with impactful, meaty attacks, I suppose. But there you go. That's fine. They work for the aesthetic, I think. They fit the theme, all things considered. Art style wise, it's preference, I guess. I don't hate it. I don't love it either. It's fine. It's charming, I suppose. When it comes to strategy, there is a bit. Such as, for example, that the Bruiser character, he has the spiking, which means that if you block all the damage he would have taken, he obviously deals a damage to the enemy. Which means that blocking for the Bruiser is much more important and or useful than it would be for other characters, which might not have that ability. So there is a certain synergy, I suppose, for the different characters, but there isn't any kind of card combos and those kind of things, obviously, so there is some strategy. Some things are more useful for certain characters than others and that kind of stuff, I guess. But other than that, the amount of strategy is very kind of limited, let's just say. It is very, very random in nature. I mean, the rooms are random. Your attacks are random. Well, they draw from a pile, but they are randomly drawn. I think the enemy's attacks are random. The loot you get is random, drawn from a pool. You know, everything is just determined by random card draw, which, you know, leaves a lot up to chance. It very much does. It's luck of the draw, I guess, to a very large degree, and I'm dead. Great. I mean, I don't find that funny or fun.
Especially when
That's
they wear
annoying,
pants.
honestly, to me. It's just too RNG. It might be something that's fun in a social setting with friends, but in a single-player game, that's just too much RNG for me to enjoy it. I'm sorry, but it is. Bloody hell. Well, conclusion. It's a bit of fun sometimes. A bit too much RNG bullshit for my taste. It's a rather simple turn-based, card-based system, combat system. It's rather innovative in how you build your own dungeon and you kind of entice your explorer to go different paths. But you also have very little control, and the amount of strategy you can employ is relatively limited. Let's just put it like that. Certain characters will be better with certain items and certain equipment, yes. But aside from that, there isn't any kind of combos. You don't combo cards. You don't really build a deck either. You expand your guild and you build these, obviously, kind of rooms, which gives you the possibility of finding certain items in the level. But you obviously don't build a deck that you go into the game with. You just build a possible deck or a number of cards that you can get in the game if you're lucky. and happen to run across those items. Although there are those little amulet, I suppose, amulet things that you do start the game with, which give you a minor boost of some kind. Otherwise you basically just grind for loot, I suppose, so that you can get, like, I don't know, better card opportunities in dungeons, I suppose, essentially. It is a roguelike, so I suppose it's kind of intended to encourage multiple runs as well. And it has, of course, permadeath for your dungeoneers, so I hope you don't get too attached to them and the skills you have built up for them. I don't know, it feels like it's wasting your time a bit, and roguelikes has this kind of problem, I guess, sometimes, which is that you feel like you're wasting your time. Roguelikes always have this kind of problem that they sort of waste your time to a certain degree by the fact that it has permadeath. And that's the same thing with all roguelikes, I suppose. In some of them I am less annoyed by it though. And that primarily comes down to whether or not it's incredibly random. Because if it isn't random, then okay, fine, you know, that's my fault. I failed, I fucked up, you know, fine. But when you die and lose a character which you might have invested significant time into because of a random unlucky draw, I don't know, that's a bit too much for me. But it doesn't mean the game is bad inherently. It's very random, but if you can put up with that, maybe you can have some fun with it. Absolutely. It's pretty simple, but it isn't bereft of fun by any means. It certainly has its appeals. It has a unique little aesthetic with the theme of the silly bard, who is absolutely hilarious, thank you. And of course it's very unique in how you build your own dungeon, with cards you get just kind of randomly throughout the gameplay. And you actually put in your own enemies as well. And your own treasure. It's very odd, obviously. It's very unique. But either way, I've been Dexter. And this has been a casual look at Guild of Dungeoneering. Maybe I'll see you next time. Farewell.